Episode 79 of This and That and WARREFAK else. This one is going to be a little bit strange. In my days as I collect the information for my videos, I sometimes stumble onto articles and things that is bizarre, crazy, and many of these things I just have to shake my head. Now I have a system in which I collect my screenshots and snippets and then I group them, and you know the groups that I use mostly, but these, I had a look at them and they don't really fit into any of my usual categories. And tonight, as I sifted through my collection, I decided to label them bizarre. And this episode might be entertaining, but before we get to the crazy shit, I have to share this one with you. Now, I started photography in the 70s and I had a studio for a long time. Then for about 20 years I didn't do any photography, and then when the digital age came onto us, my brother pulled me back into the photography and I started working with it again. And he pulled me into a photo club. I rarely join clubs because I don't like gangs. But he convinced me to join the club, and one of the sectors or sections that I really enjoyed was street photography and the altered reality photography. Those are the two things that really gave me a lot of joy. And I want you to look at this image, because this image can be labeled as street photography. And this is a great image. The photographer did a good job. But the thing that caught my eye, I'm not so crazy about the composition of the shot, but the thing that caught my eye was that girl. Hell, she must have a lot of confidence to walk down the street like that. For me, this is a great shot, but that is me. Now, let's move on. I'm going to start showing you images. Some is images and some has got some story with it and so forth, but it is really bizarre. Look at this setup here. That beautiful woman and that creature. And then the poster said, "Your daughter brings him home, how do you greet him?" Well, for those that know me well, they know this creature would end up in the electric fence, for sure. But as my eldest son said one day when we were talking about something like this, he said to me, "Dad, if it is your daughter, she won't get involved in shit like this." So, fortunately I have to agree with him. Unfortunately I don't have a daughter, and if I had a daughter and she brought a monster like this home, I would immediately send her for a DNA. And then we've got our South African Minister of Internal Affairs, and for fuck's sakes, listen to his words. "We plan to cut all homeless people in half by 2025. Well, if you're homeless, you better get a home, otherwise you're going to be in half by 2025. And then you get this from the New York Post, and yes, I call it bizarre. "Meet the tough women leaders taking on Vladimir Putin." Now, if you look at that image, and you are objectively realistic, the damage that those 5 women has caused in Europe cannot be calculated. And unfortunately, there is a lot of people that are most probably going to die. I don't know where this cock is coming from of appointing chicks as national leaders. It's all this equality shit and all of that. But there you have it. Those are the people that are primarily the reason for Europe's shit. And then we've got Katie Hawkins, and I like this girl a lot. Unfortunately, she has also been banned from Twitter. There's a spunky woman, this. Simple question. If Islam is so fantastic, why do Muslims seek refuge in Christian countries? It's a good question, and I can answer. I'll give her my view on why they do it. They do it because the Christians of today tolerate this type of shit, and the Christians of today are continuously turning the other cheek because they are so fucking woke that they cheer those on that are planning to wipe them out. Christian countries are soft targets for the barbarians. Now, this is really bizarre. It is 2022, and look what is happening in. All of a sudden, firewood is a hot item. And the next one made me laugh, and I'm quite sure it is, it's not. Obviously, I don't think this is true, but I had a great laugh when I saw this. Female Russian soldiers gang rape a gay man who was put in the women's division. A gay Russian man was put into the women's division due to the policy of gay men or women. When he refused to engage in lesbian sex and identify as a woman, the women's unit treated him as a sex toy, tightly controlling him and frequently raping him. I think it is actually bullshit, because in Russia there is zero tolerance for this gender confused shit. And then we've got this one, another bizarre relic from the pestilence era. Dear Plexiglas, thank you for protecting me from the cashier who just touched every single item I'll be taking home with me. This period in history will be known as the dumb ages. And that is so true. And I've seen a few memes about the Plexiglas, but this one was a real classic. And then we get to this. This is shocking. It's in South Africa, but it is the truth, and it is absolutely scandalous. South Africa does not have a power crisis. South Africa has a corruption crisis. Eskom wants more and more money to keep running the gravy train. That is so true. And then we get to this one. I'm first going to show you the article that was published in the New York Post, and it says, "Big boobs are over." And I can tell you, this was on Twitter, you cannot believe the commentary that was there. And then someone said, and here is the image of the author of that article. The author might have had a personal agenda, and look at her, flat-chested, and that's it. But I had a laugh when and then we get to another one of that creatures. And the poster said, "Feast your eyes on this." And I say, no thank you, no fucking feasting here. And then there's another one, and this is how Ursula van der Crazy, as Alex has baptized her, but I see he's now renamed her to Ursula van der Pirate, after she made the statement that they're going to steal the Russian assets that has been frozen. Von Ursula is married to the German doctor Heiko von der Leyen, director of the American biotech company Orgenesis, which specializes in cell and gene therapies, which is owned by Pfizer and was involved in the secret contracts of the EU Directorate. And the plot thickens. There is now the European Parliament has appointed a commission that is inquiring about hanky-panky with the contracts for the snake poison. And then we get this one, and this is also one of those scary shit things. But look at those images and really wonder. They drank the blood of our children, and it is an adrenochrome article. Now you should really do yourself a favor and go and do some research on adrenochrome. Your hair will fall out. And the Ukraine is a major producer of it. Now, this one is from South Africa, and it is quite disturbing. And it's about the potholes in the Free State. The farmers repaired 550 potholes over 30 kilometers in 8 days for 75,000 rand. The government, 575 potholes over 25 kilometers, 117 days, and the cost, 3 million rand. What the fuck is that? That's why our country is in the sewer. And then we get to this one. It's another one that made me laugh. And obviously this guy and the girl had an argument, and he said to her, "Give me 2 good reasons why we shouldn't break up." And she responded. And you have to look at the image how she responded. And I think she's got 2 points there. And then we get to this. This is all around that thing of Elon Musk buying Twitter. And the poster says, "Done deal. Twitter employees leaving after Elon fires them." And look at those creeps. There's no other word for it. Creeps. And then we get to this. And this is very disturbing. White people be like, gotta help the minorities. At 8% of the world in 2021, whites are on the verge of extinction. Yes, that is. What is this fucking helping minorities? We white people are the minority. And this one, that post that I discussed about the leadership of Europe, Sanna Marin of Finland is dead set on getting Finland blown off the map. NATO wants to place nuclear missiles on Finland's Russian border. Finland says yes. What the fuck is that? How can the Finnish people sit quietly while that chick, yes, chick, is leading them to hell? Hell. Why? Why? And then we get to this one, which is a little bit more serious, but still bizarre. How Bolsonaro lost the election despite having the best economy in decades and lowest crime rates. Follow the thread. It shows that being a good leader does not give you votes. And how tragic is that? Very tragic. Now the next little picture came out of a thread where it was again more of a fight between the BEE supporters and the anti-BEE supporters, and as everything is in South Africa, every point of contention turns racist. And this guy posted this. Ever hear blacks refer to their rich African heritage? Let's have a look. African cuisine, and it's that insect. African invention, a spear. African architecture, that hut at the back. African fashion, that bone through the nose. African art, African literature. By the way, can you name any African philosophers? Look, this is a bit harsh, but it's not far off the mark for many. And we don't have a WARREFAK tonight, because this whole thread, everything is basically a WARREFAK. Now all I can say is, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and share the thing. And I hope you enjoyed this. This is a little bit off the beaten track, but I had to share it with you. to give you an indication of the things that I see during my day. Have a great evening.